Greetings, folks. Today is December the 20th, 2018, and it's about, it's approaching 2:30 in the morning. And the reason I'm doing a early commentary today is because I have a hearing coming up later this morning. My landlord is actually trying to put me out in the streets, but that's another story. If you want to know something about that, just ask. Okay, now, what I want to talk to you is about the Constitution. I am a constitutionalist. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal, although some constitutional positions make you sound like a liberal or a conservative. So, anyway, the Constitution is a document I hold in high regard. And the purpose of the Constitution is to limit government. Unfortunately, the Constitution is only as good as the people who follow it or don't follow it. The reason we are having the problems that we're having is we have governments, state, local, and federal governments, that do not apply the Constitution. They don't care about the Constitution. And that's a problem. That is why we are having the problems that we have. Because we have governments that do not follow the Constitution. Even though they take an oath to. It's incredible. Every elected official in this country, whether they're federal, state, or local, they all take an oath to the Constitution. Every congressman takes an oath to the Constitution to support and defend the Constitution against the enemies of the Constitution, foreign and domestic. But what do you do when Congress itself has become enemies of the Constitution? And that's where we are. We have governments all across the land that are enemies of the Constitution. These people are given the duty to support and defend the Constitution against themselves. Anyway, okay, why? One of the problems with getting back to the Constitution is the majority of the American people don't seem to want it. Now, maybe they enjoy being slaves. Maybe they enjoy government controlling every aspect of their lives. I don't know about you, but there are people in this country that do not like government controlling every aspect of their lives. But since government is not following the Constitution, that's exactly what they're doing. They pass a law. Let's say they make an issue out of climate change. So they pass a law saying you can't burn your trash. Not that people burn their trash anymore, because there's already laws about burning the trash. Now, because we can't burn trash, we have landfills that are overfilling. What do you do about it? Anyway, so there you have, the fact that we don't follow the Constitution and they control every aspect of your life. What about farmers? There are laws now that say farmers cannot collect rainwater. Constitution gives us liberty. And the more laws, the more anti-Constitution laws that are passed, the less freedom, the less liberty we have. What about marijuana? The Libertarian Party is big on this point. The drug war that supposedly we have, it's an unconstitutional war. There's nothing in the Constitution that says Congress shall control drugs. Now, we have a constitutional mandate to control commerce. So maybe from a commercial point of view, Congress can do something about drugs. But not from a liberty point of view. You should have the right to smoke joints. You want to have a pot party while you're watching the Super Bowl? Go ahead. But you see, Congress are enemies of the Constitution, and so they pass laws that keep you from doing those things. I don't know about you, but I prefer liberty to what we have. Now, another thing about the Constitution says that we have a republic. In fact, the Constitution says that we guarantee to the states a republican form of government. Now, the enemies of the Constitution would like you to believe it's a democracy, and it's not. Now, that's another issue. Another issue is we have amendments to the Constitution. That's right. The first, the second, all the way to the 10th Amendment, and then beyond. But the first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. Do you know that the enemies of the Constitution in Congress and in the White House are doing their best to get rid of the 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights? You know, Donald Trump has recently come out in favor of banning bump stocks. I don't know what they are. I know they have something to do with guns. That's unconstitutional. We have a Second Amendment that says you don't do that. You don't infringe upon the right to bear arms. So, Donald Trump is an enemy of the Constitution. The Constitution limits government. But, try as you might, nowhere does the Constitution limit the people. Now, of course, there are laws that make sense, like laws about murder. You know, so the libertarian philosophy is one that says you can do anything you want except hurt other people. Now, within the Constitution, that's a good philosophy. So, we need to get back to the Constitution and set our people free. Otherwise, we're just slaves of the masters in Washington, D.C. Isn't it time? People, please understand. The Constitution is not a bad thing. And I urge everyone in America to get a Constitution and read it. And maybe, if you want to, you come and tell me what's wrong with it. Anyway, let's get back to the Constitution. I'm going to be talking about the Constitution off and on. I may be I'm probably going to address the Second Amendment, but one of the amendments I do want to address is the 10th Amendment. And I'll get to that at another time. That's my commentary for today. Thank you for listening.